Thank you. Okay. All right, we'll open the July meeting of the Candler Lakes Planning Board. Rich Craig is traveling, so he's not with us. We do expect the Downeys, Mr. and Mrs. Downey, whose site plan we're going to review in a little while. So let's open the meeting. Holly?
Chairman Mayhood,
Here.
Ms. Nestro.
Here.
Mr. Winterman.
Here.
Ms. McDonough.
Here.
Mr. Youthie.
Here.
Vice Chairman McComsky.
Here.
Ms. Hopkins.
Walked in.
I don't hear a click. I don't hear.
Somebody walked in.
I heard a
Oh,
beep.
did you? Oh, okay.
Somebody walked in, so, okay, well, we will do the pledge. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, hi Gwen. Seat for you there. Couple of things that I added for privilege of the floor. They're included in the packet. The resolution from the town board regarding video attendance at meetings. Turns out the town board had passed a law last year, but they didn't have a policy in place. So they couldn't really allow us to use the law until it was a policy. So this is the written policy. I gave everyone a copy. Basically, it says what we were all aware of. There needs to be a quorum at the site where the meeting is held. Needs to be either chairman or vice chairman at the meeting. And anyone coming in on Zoom is allowed to participate in conversation, which we always allowed that. They're also allowed to vote. And that's what this policy is. You can file it, keep it, throw it out, whatever, but this is an official policy now. So that if someone is unable to make it to the meeting, but want to attend by Zoom and vote, we're allowed to. That was that town board resolution. They passed it July 13th. Second item I left on the table in front of you. It's just one sheet from this New York State laws. It's called Appendix A, and it has to do with wastewater treatment systems. And on the back, in particular, it talks about distances between the components. I wrote on the front of the paper, our town code, section 120, chapter 120, section 57B3 refers to this. Okay, so you can keep this with your book or wherever you want to. The idea being if New York State changes something, it will change here. Our town code doesn't have to change. But it's in particular, I brought it out because part of the site plan, you'll see there are some distances and you check up here that they conform. But I wanted everyone to have a copy of that as well. So those are two privileges of floor items that I had. Is there anything else that anyone else has? Another opportunity at the end, privilege of the floor. We'll talk about that later. Okay. So the next item on the agenda says public hearing for the site plan application. We will actually delay that until we start the review of the site plan. And we have Mr. and Mrs. Downey, Andrew and Danielle, who are the applicants for the site plan. Welcome. So we will go ahead and next thing is the approval of the minutes for the July 12th. June.
Did I put the wrong date?
Would you put? Oh no, June 22nd meeting. Any corrections? I found a couple.
Okay.
On the second page, final approval the last line that says the property dead, DED, and it should be deed. So just spelling. And-
Oh, I see it. I see it.
Okay, and one other item. More. Again, spelling, the next page, where it said preliminary review. We opened the preliminary review for the castle site plan. And you refer to a 30-foot by 48-foot.
Oh, I see it. I see it.
Building. And I know these are nitpicking things, but I like to.
Oh, no, I
Anything else that anyone saw?
that's why we have second, third, and fourth, and fifth, and sixth pairs of eyes.
I make a motion
Have
to
a motion
approve
with the corrections.
with the corrections.
Second,
I second.
Darrell.
Or whatever.
Carlos, all in favor?
Thank you.
And I'll have to abstain, Holly.
Oh, yes,
It's not-
that's right. Kate abstains.
Oh, wait, I was going to. I
And
have to
Caroline
abstain.
abstains. She was missing.
Then I vote and I.
You vote and get paid for tonight's meeting. Well, you get paid anyway, but you get to vote. Because Birch is missing, so you'll be taking place of Birch anyway. So we'll just move into some of the reports, general reports, town board meeting. Town board met July 13th. Not too much in terms of reports from the different sections. The highway department did report that the Jersey Hill Road project, apparently they've moved along far enough to actually negotiating with a contractor to actually do the work. So that is moving along a little faster than I had thought it would. Originally, they were hoping to get that road open by September. Not all of the reinforcement work would be done by most of it would be done into the following year, but enough to open up the road, so they might make it. Other things, just typical things, they got their new truck, the big truck that they've been waiting for. Weed harvesting has begun in the lake. And the John Deere boom tractor. Oh, they approved the lease for the new John Deere boom tractor. So the highway, they're always rolling over equipment. And what the town does is they lease, typically, they don't own any of the machines, and then maybe some of the smaller machines, but they typically lease the big trucks and the roller and other things. And so they have a budget built in. And so every year they go to whatever the next budgeted item is. And so that's how they paid for the new truck and the new John Deere boom tractor. And they're all happy with those. Town board did pass a local law, which they do every year, which overrides the tax levy limit for fiscal year 2027. There's an approved limit, and if a town budget exceeds that, they have to do a lot of things to explain. But if they pass this local law, they can not have to go through all of the justification of what the tax increases are. And they do it every year, so they did that this year as well. Laura Ann Chamberlain resigned from the Zoning Board of Appeals. So we'll be looking for someone for the Zoning Board of Appeals if anyone is interested in that. And there's a possibility that Ed Bott might be resigning as well. So there's going to be some openings. It's one right away, possibly another one in the future. Watershed Task Force. He reported that the surface temperature of Honeoye Lake was 80 greater than 80 degrees. And that, of course, promotes blue-green algae growth, rapid growth, and they've had some blue-green algae blooms around the lake. Not much they can do about it. I think they mentioned this last time, they're doing a pilot biochange system on the incoming water from the inlet at the south end heading into the lake. They're putting some small packets of chemicals that will absorb the phosphorus from the water. It's not a chemical reaction, it's a physical adsorption. You know what that is. And then they're going to measure upstream and downstream, small pilot program, possibly do something like that eventually. No results yet. We finally received the report on the alum treatment from the Honeoye Lake that was done in 2022. Results were no quality, no water quality improvement. It was not effective. They knew it probably wouldn't be because Terry Gronwell was the link to the Watershed Task Force, knew that the amounts that were used were probably not going to see an effect anyway. But DEC finally put out their final report 4 years later and reported that it didn't actually work or help. And I think that's all that was interest us. Any questions? You know, the minutes of these meetings are online. They're a month behind, of course, because like ours, you know, they don't post them on the web until they've been approved. So like us, we approved June's, but it's not on the web, it won't be on the website until later. Okay. County Planning Board, Birch did attend both meetings, CRC and final actual board meeting. He reported that there was nothing that applied to us, nothing of our interest, so nothing.
The dates of those?
I don't.
Okay, I can look.
Zoning Board, we didn't get anything new. Actually, I should mention it. No, I didn't put it down as old business, but from last meeting, we approved the Pecora subdivision, and one of the conditions was that we receive a written statement that that final variance had been approved, and we got it. So that's one of the conditions. And he's got still working on the final survey map and the deeds, so he has to show us the final survey map. He doesn't have to show us the deeds, but he has to show us the final survey map. And that final survey map must show the easement, and that's what's holding that final. He's having trouble with his attorney getting the easement wording. That's right. I actually got a call from the attorney. So that's the zoning things. Code enforcement. We got his report here. If you have any questions, you can talk to Joe Miller. And that does remind me. During the town board meeting, the code enforcement officer reported findings of an inspection on 55, a residence on 5526 County Road 36. And he issued an order to the owner, property owner, to order to repair or demolish the infrastructure. Apparently it was you know where Christopher Gastola lives, a couple places down off the road, there was a manufactured home back there. And it got sold. The new owner wanted the code enforcement officer to take a look at it. New CEO went up there and found out that the previous renter was still living there. And it was a health hazard. It was mold and other things. And so he immediately evicted, well, he got the sheriff to evict the squatter at that point because the property had been sold. And so they're going to hold a hearing at their next meeting to officially start proceedings to either put a timeline on getting that repaired or taken down. So that was part of the code enforcement's report. Forgot to mention that as we went through. Okay. Any questions again on the reports or anything? You can talk to Joe Miller for us. All right, that brings us old business. I mentioned the Pecora old business. So the new bit and that's the only old business we have We're still waiting for his final survey maps. The the site plan and special use permits that we approved last month, all the paperwork is in place, so those are closed. All right. So at this point, we will move to new business. The new business is a site plan application for Andrew Danielle Downey, the property at County Road 37. We don't actually have a road address, or they didn't at this time. The code enforcement officer will issue that once he issues building permits. He'll issue them an actual street address, road address. So for now, it's County Road 37, almost to the north town line. So at this point, we're going to open a public hearing. We're going to do a preliminary review. We're going to do a seeker, and then we're going to consider, if everything's okay, closing the public hearing. So I'll entertain one motion to both open the public hearing and open the preliminary review of the site plan application for the Downeys.
I'll make a motion.
Caitlin, is there a second?
I'll second.
Caroline, all in favor? Opposed? So we're going to move into the preliminary review. I sent you black and white copies of the site plan. This is, first of all, a reminder, this lot is a pre-existing non-conforming lot. It existed before zoning was in place in the town. Okay, and as such, there's certain special regulations for non-conforming lots, although we don't really need them here other than road frontage. Okay, this property actually does not own road frontage, but they have rights of way across its two different tax map parcels, both owned by the same entities. It's a trust, I believe now, but it does cross over two separate tax maps until it gets down the hill to their own private lot, which is about 14 acres, I believe. So since it's non-conforming, it's pre-existing non-conforming, we can handle it, and it's allowed to be developed. Town code. Again, Rich and I and the Downeys and the code enforcement officer have been working for probably a lot longer than they would hope. Three months, I believe, on this. So Joe Miller, our code enforcement officer, again, very helpful in the process and guiding us and giving information for us as we need it. Do you want to just kind of explain the project just in a few words? I mean, I sent them all copies of the site plan, the 4, 5, whatever it is. So just in some words, tell us what it is that you want.
It's going to be just a single family residence home. It's 24 by 48. Basically gonna be a barn home. There's a well. We're gonna have a standard septic system, a pond, and then just unfortunately very long driveway.
One thing that comes to mind is, since this is on a county road, does it have to go to Ontario County Planning? One of the guidelines for Ontario County Planning is they do not review site plans for single family residences, even if they're on a county road. I spoke with them because the scope of the project is more than 1 acre of land is going to be disturbed in the construction, when you count the driveway and the house construction. And that's what triggers a site plan. If it was less than 1 acre, they would have gotten a building permit from Joe, from the CEO. But since it's more than that, and so when you do that, and because of that, New York State DEC approval is required. Those approvals are, One is called a SPEEDIES. SPEEDIES means State Pollutant Discharge Elimination System. It's aimed at making sure we're not going to create some contamination along the way. Okay, so the SPEEDIES permit had been applied for and approved. Now, that's a 92-page document. If anybody wants it, email it.
Yeah, printed 2 copies off.
Not the SPEEDIES.
Oh, no? Oh, okay.
I didn't ask you to print the SPEEDIES. You printed the next one we're gonna talk about. SPEDES, all caps. So that describes the project and it's kind of a conceptual thing. Not a whole lot of detail, some amount of detail, and so that was done back in 2025. They got way ahead of got right on that, got the SPEEDIES permit completed and approved. And again, if you want to read it, I'll send you the copy. I didn't print it out, but there is a single sheet, a signed approved permit in there. And the SPEEDIES also generates a requirement for what's called a SWPP, SWPPP. And that stands for Stormwater Pollution Prevention Plan. Again, as they go through construction, they don't want stormwater being generated and funneled in different places and causing pollution. That one's 155 pages long.
That's what I
That's the
printed.
one.
2 copies.
I have a copy here.
You can read it.
I read it, believe it or not.
For you.
I mean, I scanned, I didn't read every word, but I read it. It's very informative, very detailed. It's prepared by a licensed engineer, and you can see on the site plan map, the engineering department that did it. But it gives in words everything that needs to be addressed. Soil types, potential sources of contamination, all kinds of things. And again, they had applied for that. They got through their engineer. The engineer handled that, and this has been approved as well. So from a Department of Environmental Conservation standpoint, everything has been completed and approved. Okay? That's that. Some other things, and Darla's had a lot of questions, and I understand Rich and I and the Downey's been working a long time, and we're very familiar, but she had a lot of questions, and that's good. So I sent out.
I actually read everything you sent me.
Pardon?
I read everything you sent me.
Good. You sent it to everybody on the board, so I just sent it to everybody, all the replies.
I did. Yeah, well, I wouldn't normally do that, except that I was using the format from an old email and I sent it out and said, oh.
Oh, that's it's actually helpful, and I was thinking of some way of maybe giving a little more information. So I tried to answer her questions brought up in her email, 2 pages, and I emailed in brief form my best answers to those. So I guess at this point, I would ask if anybody has any additional questions. The site plan. Very thorough, very detailed. Couple things to point out. Actually, everything is conforming, even though it's a non-conforming lot. All of the plans
The engineer.
would conform. All of the site plan detail does conform to our current zoning is. So even though it's non-conforming lot, we didn't have to use any of those things. So if you look through those, would you like to see one, Barb?
Sure.
If you look through that, you can have that, just do it back before we leave tonight. Oh, the other thing, we did run up by, and we did ask our highway superintendent to look at it. Particularly, we wondered what about coming out on County Road 37.
Mhm.
And the engineer had drawn a sluice, culvert, whatever, I used to call it sluice, but they call them culverts now. And the only comment from Jeremy, the superintendent, was it's a little oversized, more than he would need based on the highway requirement. But when I spoke with the Downeys and mentioned, and the highway guy said, it's okay. He was just commenting, it might save a little money or something in the cost. But when I spoke with them, they said, it's in the plan. They didn't want to make it. And he actually did make one suggestion for an additional cross culvert partway down the driveway.
Okay.
And they put that on, they got that back to the engineer, and they put that on. Again, stormwater management. So that was the other thing I wanted to highlight was the highway superintendent's on board with this. Code enforcement officer intimately involved, so he's happy with everything. Let's see. The pond is a future project.
Yes.
We did not consider that.
Yeah.
Right?
It'll be
I'm not
future.
sure what our consideration would be, but it's not part of the site plan.
No.
If and when you decide to do a pond, there may be some DEC requirements or whatever, but the code enforcement officer would be the one who guide you. So even though it shows up here on the map, site plan, it's proposed.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
here,
And I,
not part of this approval.
I spoke with Joe about that too, and he says that anything under an acre, DC is not concerned about it, so.
When it comes to building, oh, really? Okay.
If it's under an acre, is it?
Okay. So I did want to mention that about the highway superintendent. And I think I know I sent you the old survey map of the two parcels where the rights of way go across, everybody's, and it's a 50-foot right of way. Actually, one of them started out 25, but somewhere along the line,
We found out it was 50.
Yeah,
it had been amended, so it's 50 feet wide, on both parcels, yeah.
Okay, and that was one of my concerns about how the right of way was structured. If it's attached to your deed, it still exists attached to the other two deeds and what the details are. Because the 1998 survey that we got didn't have any details about that, but that's something that in the future, you're definitely.
Oh, yeah.
It was on the previous one, because I think it was the, say, 84 around there, the one before the 1988 one. They gave a lot more detail, and that was actually where it mentioned it was a 50-foot right of way.
Yeah, that's the one that I sent to everyone. It's not the most recent survey, but it's.
Yeah, but you definitely want to keep that verbiage somewhere wherever you
Yeah.
keep your deed information in there.
So that was one question I had. We do require easements to be on site plans, and I don't see it detailed here. I apologize if I missed it, but I think that it's kind of implied here with these lines, but there is no detail about the easement, and my understanding was we do require easements to be on site plans.
This is the engineering drawing, but to have the verbiage of the right of way, that's what we want.
No, we require easements to be on site plans. That's a site plan requirement, that any easements are detailed on there.
Well,
The road is the easement, I guess, itself. There's a dotted line that goes
Yeah,
down the
the
center.
dotted lines are
It's
the,
implied on the site plan, but it's not detailed at all. There's no,
Yeah, I noticed that too. The survey information is quote Library pages
yeah,
but that was not on the.
yeah, that's
site
not
plan.
on this site plan.
So any final site plan would need that citation.
Are we considering this a final site?
we thought we had everything, but I mean, that's one of the reasons we're doing this, okay? So how would that show up here? Would have to be, it's highlighted, it would just have to be labeled as,
Yeah, typically I think it's
mean,
labeled, and I think it's implied here. There's the 50-foot.
he mentions 50-foot markers all the way
Yeah.
in several places.
But typically, yeah, it at least refers to, 50-foot easement. It at least labels it as such, so you know what you're looking at. And often it does include the page and library number.
I think that would be helpful too.
As best practice, I think that it,
Yeah, okay. And that's not in these.
No,
Not that I looked for it, again, there's a ton of information, so I apologize if I missed it.
Oh, that's kind
It's
of-
very detailed.
Yeah.
But I couldn't find it on any of the pages.
You've already surveyed. It was not on this.
Right, and the survey belongs to the other people, and they're not required to create a survey of the other parcels. But I see what you're saying, so.
Yeah.
So it sounds like it's a matter of just labeling
Yep.
those lines that are already there, showing the 50-foot width.
It's really just a missing with the page in library.
Okay, so let's see. Another-
Interrupt you for just a second, volunteer something.
Yes, go ahead, Barb.
That information, the source of the easement information would be in the abstract. And it would be described, there would be a legal description of it in the abstract. A lot of times the abstract that you get nowadays doesn't go back far enough. It goes like maybe the first 10 or 15 pages, but it's there. I'm
Okay,
so-
thank you.
Yeah.
So we need the plan needs a label showing, specifying that these dotted lines.
And it will give you the LIBOR number, where the easement, LIBOR and page and so forth. So it really should be, as you say, it should be here, right?
And that is part of the code too, for some.
Yeah. Seems like I saw that somewhere. Didn't we have that?
It's
It
on
was
here,
on
but
the-
it doesn't say it's a right of way.
Yeah.
But I thought.
It was on the old survey. It wasn't on,
Wasn't,
it's not on this.
Yeah.
I thought I might have seen it somewhere in either this or the Speedies, though.
It might be in the speedies, but if you need it on the site plan itself, it seems like it's a simple thing to do.
So it would mean labeling the right of way and including somewhere like one of these lines
Yeah.
that explains what all these other measurements are. It would just be a line that says this is the right of way boundary
Yep.
and a reference to the deeds, which is on that other site map. Okay?
So you would get the LIBOR number and the page number. I know this because when I bought the land from the city, we had an easement through the city's property to the lake. And it was before the days where we did the examination here and everything. However, when the city, and let's see, when I sold my property to the state, the city and I then eliminated that easement because it was no longer necessary. So that went into, so the LIBOR and page number with the, from the abstract, and that's an easy thing for your attorneys to get. And they can pull it right up, but it would not, it would be back probably a while ago when the easement was created and filed.
Yeah, and that protects you too.
Yeah, it does protect it, exactly.
And I'm not super familiar. I don't know if I've reviewed one of these where the easement is on two different separate parcels. Does that mean there's a separate page and LIBOR number for each
There were two
parcel?
submitted on that.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, both of them were on that survey.
okay,
so
yeah, so then,
information is on, you're familiar with that older survey that showed, so I think all the information is there.
so we'll
Just
make
needs to
sure
make
each
sure it
parcel
shows up
is separately labeled.
where it crosses over from one tax number, so you'll have two labels. Okay. Good. So at the road, everything is okay. They have the turnarounds, the turnouts,
Yes.
okay, which is
There's-
necessary for
That's great, yeah.
emergency access, so that's. This engineer at McCormick, they seem to have done a very thorough job
Yeah.
from what we've seen here. So you see it goes down, curves around, and then the location of the house is just that little dot, but it is a little larger on one of the pages. So if you see the dimensions of the house and the setback, excuse me. Setback, code says that setback from the highway line or the public road is 20 feet, and that's exactly what they have. Public road is way up the hill, but they've got a 20-foot setback, so that meets the regulation for setback. And the same for side, there's no issues on the side. One of them shows the next page shows the location of the well and septic system. So I wanted you to see this, appendix 78. You can see the tank is right next to the house, obviously. Leach field looks like it's 148 feet from the house. The well is pretty much due north, and that's 100 feet from the well, from the, let's see, what's the dimension there? Anyway, the differential, what we're looking for is the differential between the well and the septic system.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's
that has to be 100 feet, and this one is 15 to the leach field. So everything looks okay there. As noted, the power is going to come in from the east, back across and up to the house underground, I understand, right? And so that's where the power will be. Yeah.
I just have a couple observations. I noticed the perk tests and the deep hole tests for the septic system. You guys got great soil for a septic system in this town.
It took about 6 or 7 points to find that spot.
Yeah.
You found it, yeah. That can be a
winter.
be a real problem in this town.
Yeah, as somebody who had to have 47 dump truck loads full of.
You have to have it filled.
And
Okay, so
that's one
Yep.
observation about the well. I was gonna ask, there's a 100-foot setback from the septic. That's great. But I noticed that the 100 feet does sort of extend into the neighboring parcel.
Yeah.
And will that, it's all
The-
rhetorical, will that?
no,
have
if you look
impact
if you look
on
at if you look
Develop.
no, because from the well to the property line only has to be 20
Okay,
feet.
but my question is, does any future development have to be 100 feet from somebody's well? That would be a pre-existing
Future
well
development on this property,
on the neighboring property.
that would be something they would have to identify.
Yeah.
It would just have to be, no, it would just have to be, I'm not sure. the
Yeah.
answer.
And
I mean,
my.
If we were looking at it all by itself, it would just have to meet the 20-foot setback. But
Yeah.
relative to a neighbor's system, I don't know, we'd have to refer to
And-
Joe or an
And
attorney.
the 100 feet isn't increased because it's on a slope downhill. I
Yeah.
don't know the answers to these things and
Yep.
they're just sort of rhetorical at this
Yeah,
point,
okay,
you
yeah,
know. Just something to think about.
okay. The driveway meets our requirement. I referred you to on the note, chapter 108. Drawing A9 shows our town requirement for driveway. And this meets that, okay?
I have a question about that.
Yeah,
And it's been a while, I feel like, since we've had a new driveway on a county road, but they also have to get a permit from Ontario County Highway to put in a new driveway on a county road, correct?
I think so, no.
And I don't know if that was part of the previous, the SWIP and the speedy. If Ontario County Highway was notified, but it's not just because it's a county road while county planning doesn't review it. I believe they need a highway work permit in order
Yeah.
to put in a new driveway on a county road.
trying to remember, didn't Joe say that he was taking that to get that to the county? Joe, our CEO.
Okay.
So he's
Yeah,
on
he was
that.
aware of that and he was taking care of that.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, that's right. So even though the planning doesn't look at it,
Yeah.
County
county
highway.
has to look at it.
We're
Yep.
still talking about the driveway. I do have a question. Do you think you're gonna need these snow fences? And where would you put
Need
them?
what?
Snow fences. I know that winter has kind of tuckered out here from back in the olden days when I first moved here, but depending upon the way the wind blows, it may just clog up your driveway, and snow fences do help.
Yeah, we're
So-
trying to do something.
Usually blows from the west and
Yeah.
the driveway's going east and west.
Yeah, so, you know, if it's coming.
It'll blow it all down the hill towards the house.
Yeah.
I don't know that we would have any requirement for snow fencing.
No, I don't think there's any.
Just- Just something to think about.
Driveway, this
Well-
one, I just want to pass along my experience.
We did talk about it.
Okay.
No,
Because I
I,
know a snow fence did help us on one section. We had one north-south, one west, and.
Okay, good points.
Mhm.
Good point, Charles. But as far as meeting our town construction requirements, it's conforming. Next page, detail about septic systems, et cetera. So that all has to be inspected and approved by the CEO, so. But they included that information here. And that's in the absorption field and information also. That's the plan. We asked and answered a lot of questions. Hopefully. We've thought of and answered everyone correctly. Again, we spent a long time, we relied a lot on our code enforcement and the Downey.
I can't thank you guys enough. I mean, Ted and Rich, you guys were so kind through this whole process. It was a long process as you were. You guys are great. So thank you.
Well, thank you.
Once the driveway is established and it goes through two properties, do you foresee any other development coming up and using that, other houses? I don't know what the verbiage is in the right of way, if it
no,
provides
this
for
is-
those persons to use that also.
I think it's with the land trust. I think that there's some of the people that would have to sign off.
Yeah.
That was sort of development.
Okay, and that's the existing ownership now. I mean, they could sell it in the future.
They just need the extra people to help out.
Right now, it's on one of the most iconic views of Canada on this side of the town. To look across those hay fields and then down into the, hey, your house is almost gonna be hidden. Almost won't be visible from that.
That's
Not
fine.
really, yeah. We have the most beautiful look outside our windows, you know? Mhm.
And, you know, it's hard to predict what the future holds for that open
And-
land,
yeah,
if it will
and-
be developed or not. I know the owner right now wants no development, but but who knows what will happen in the future? And whatever happens, we'll have to work around the existing rights of way on both those tax parcels.
5445, is that across from Affolter?
Yeah.
It's south, just a little bit from Affolter's house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Across from Todd and Donna Rose's house, if you know, the Roses, right directly across from.
If you drive by there, you can see tire tracks that look like that's gonna be the driveway.
Did you bring the sign back?
Yeah,
Yes,
it's out in the trunk.
Wow.
yes, we're compliant.
Okay. Do we have any other questions that we can ask? Answer. Okay, then let's actually look at the application form itself. Again, our applications are pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Excuse me, they paid a $35 fee. They put 5445 on the application, but it's not actually their number.
Yeah.
We
That's
put
the
it there as a reference
mailbox across. the
It will have, yeah, that's the road, that's Todd and Donna Road address, but it'll be somewhere near that. Okay. And that's a Hemlock address. Rural zoning. Current land use. Ag, hayfield, woods. Simple description, construct a residential home, 1,500 square feet, 2,000 foot driveway. And we both signed those on July 9th. So any questions on the application?
No, the signed copy.
Pardon?
What you sent us, Joe hasn't signed it yet. But I-
Joe doesn't have to sign that. One or the other,
Oh, one or the other.
one or the other.
I'm not trying to make
So
one.
he always passes them one.
Okay. And I think you had alluded to the total site area, was more than an acre. This says 1 acre, so.
No, that's the 1 acre of disturbed land.
Because that also includes the driveway.
That's the
Even
driveway.
though it's
Yeah.
not technically part of the site area, because it's not their property, it's that easement. So the disturbed area is gonna be more than the actual site
Right.
area.
Okay,
Right.
okay.
And where are you looking?
Little site area on the front. Where your thumb is.
Oh, yeah.
That's just
Yeah, that was
site area.
the disturbed. Yeah, the total is around what, 14,
It's
15
15,
and a-
15 and a half
right, but
is the,
yeah.
which
Between,
does not include the driveway because they don't own the driveway.
Right.
The one was the disturbed amount
okay,
of land. I'm gonna put that on here and I'll have one of you initial it as a correction, 15.5. So cross it off, 15.5 acres, okay. Good. We come, okay. So that's our preliminary review. Do we have any additional questions or we've identified new additional information to show up on the final site plan? We thought we had it nailed, but your engineer will have to do that. A label for the easement boundaries and reference the page, the lever number, page number for both of them. Just has to show up somewhere along that existing line. That's the only thing we've identified at this point that we need on the site plan itself. Okay. So at this point, it sounds like that's doable. They're agreeable to doing it. So at this point, Barb,
Is this still a public hearing?
yes, we haven't closed it yet.
When you're ready, I'd like to comment.
Okay, now's the time.
Okay, so my comment refers to the beauty of the land when it is undisturbed. And across from where I'm living now, which is in Richmond or Hemlock, the Affolters Trust owns that land, and I watched how the equipment drove across and then baled all the hay. And it was a beautiful sight, which I had seen many times, but I became more acutely aware of it when this property came up for review. And so I would like to just comment that I wonder if you had taken into consideration
You speak to us, you don't speak to them, Barb. You're making a comment to the planning board, okay? That's what the
Right.
public hearing is for. Make
Okay.
corrective comments to us, please.
I'm sorry. So I wonder if the planning board has delved into the aesthetical aspects of the property and explored if there were any other options rather than using the pre-existing right-of-way easement. So that if the driveway were along a hedgerow, that it would not disturb actually the work of the fields and the view that is appreciated by anyone driving by. So that is my comment. I've known the Affolters for many years. She's my neighbor. I haven't seen her since I moved in, but I just, I feel privileged to speak. And I think that in some ways, we almost forget you know, why we've chosen Canadice to live. And that is for the views, the purity, the sense of community and so forth. Thank you.
We do, you're welcome. Thanks for your comment. Our town code does allow for view interference in the Honeoye Lakeshore District. In other words, there are some regulations if you're in the Honeoye Lakeshore District about placement of buildings. We have no such thing in the rural district, which this is. They came, they found the property, there were existing rights of way. I don't know that they would have any reason to try to add additional cost to the project. That's all I could say. And I understand what you're saying. You know, that's why I moved out here. Love the land. But the house is not going to be visible, but even if it were, our regulations, it's an allowed use of the property under our zoning
I was concerned
regulations.
about the driveway.
It's a, pardon?
My concern was the driveway.
And we hear,
Yeah, the
okay,
driveway's gonna kind of split up paying operations.
well, it's
There's not much we. can
two
do.
tax maps already, just the way that they're located. Okay, I appreciate the comment. Anything else that anyone would like to comment on or ask?
Some secret things when we get to that.
Pardon?
Some secret things when we get to that.
Yeah, well, that's next, but at this point, we need to grant preliminary approval or deny preliminary approval. So I would entertain a motion to grant preliminary approval to this site plan application. And when we get to the final, we would specify the additional requirement for the site plan. But at this stage, we've addressed everything that we're aware of. We've come to an agreement on what the additional information is required. So I would entertain a motion to grant preliminary approval to this site plan.
I move to grant preliminary approval of this site plan.
Thank you, Dwight. Is there a second?
Second.
Caitlin, any additional information or discussion? Okay, so the motion's been made to grant preliminary approval. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, final approval or preliminary approval. At this point, public hearing's still open. We will go through the environmental quality review form. And it's an area that I have not actually looked very carefully at. Rich had looked through it too. And I know Darla some questions, so we sent out the original. Actually, right after we did this, we found we have a new seeker form, 2026. So the next time we use one, we'll have the new form. And it adds one question at the end of the series of questions, but it's not on this. So looking this over, I know Darla has some questions, but let's see. The project name is just a residential home build. Again, the address is County Road 37. Building a residential home, Andrew Downey and Danielle Ballard. Phone numbers. Rich, I did check the address on the SWIP and it's an address that Danielle uses. So it's the correct address, it's not a mistake. And this is their current residence address on this form. So questions about any of these questions? Darla, why don't you go ahead?
Question, for check all land uses that occur on or are adjoining to the, or near to the proposed action. I looked at number 5 and I also looked at 14. And they seem to be slightly in conflict.
Okay.
In 14, identify typical habitat types, forest, ag, grasslands. That looks good to me. But number 4 didn't check forest or agriculture. So I think those two should be checked. And when it says residential, parentheses, suburban, are we suburban, please? Not. Oh. Rural, yes, rural non-agriculture, that would be the house. Land uses that occur on or adjoining is forest, you noted the woods, and agriculture. So I think those two boxes need to be checked. I would uncheck the suburban, but.
Okay, and That kind of makes sense to me. I think it
Yeah.
does describe the land more accurately.
Yeah, and it's consistent with number 14.
You guys okay with that? Okay, I'll check them and then we'll have another place for one of you to initial this. And checking for us on question 5. Again, this is that 5 shouldn't really be there. It's really part, and the new form takes care of that. Because this has 2 question 5s, but this first question 5 is actually question 4. So we cross that out and we're going to cross out the residential suburban. Okay,
Add forest and ag.
and add forest and agriculture. Okay, good. Anything else as you go down through here? Good. And Andrew had signed this on July 9th. So based on those questions, the answer to those questions, we have to come to part 2 of this form, and this is a series of 11 questions that we need to answer based on the answers from 1 to 21. Will this have a no or a small impact or a moderate to large impact? So need somebody to read through these questions out loud for us. Birch usually does it, but he's not here, so we need somebody to just read down through them.
I can do it.
All right, Caitlin, thank you.
Will the proposed action create a material conflict with an adopted land use plan or zoning regulations? No. Will the proposed action result in a change in the use or intensity of use of land? No. Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of the existing community? No. Will the proposed action have an impact on the environmental characteristics that caused the establishment of a critical environmental area? No. Will the proposed action result in an adverse change in the existing level of traffic or affect existing infrastructure for mass transit, biking, or walkway? No. Will the proposed action cause an increase in the use of energy and it fails to incorporate reasonably available energy conservation or renewable energy opportunities? No. Will the proposed action impact existing A, public-private water supplies? No. Public-private wastewater treatment utilities? No. Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of important historic, archaeological, architectural, or aesthetic resources? No. Will the proposed action result in adverse change to natural resources, e.g. wetlands, water bodies, groundwater, air quality, flora, or fauna? No. Will the proposed action result in an increase in the potential for erosion, flooding, or drainage problems? No. Will the proposed action create a hazard to environmental resources or human health? No.
I would, go ahead, yes,
That, no also means a small impact may occur,
right,
but it's not up
It's
to the
not.
level of moderate.
Right.
So there may be some small impacts here on some of these things. I'm looking particularly at 2 and 3, but they're
Yeah.
not enough that we can, or we should do anything.
right. And I was gonna comment that question 10, will it result in increase of potential for erosion? Well, they're trying to minimize that through the SWIP plan. And you can see on the site plan, all of those cross culverts they've placed to minimize that water rushing anywhere. So I think that's a good answer to that one. Any other discussion on these? Okay, we turn to part 3, the next page. So we have to, by motion, declare either a positive impact on the environment or no negative, it's a negative impact or no negative impact. So we're going to have a motion that this will have no negative impact on the environment. So that's what.
I make a motion that there be no negative impact on the environment.
Second,
I'll second.
Caroline, all in favor?
I
Aye. Okay, so we're gonna say this is not result in significant, okay. And that takes care of the environmental quality review form, and of course, we have those 2 DEC reports. already. Given that, we're up to the point where we need to close the public hearing by motion.
I move to close the public hearing.
I'll second.
Dwight and Caitlin, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried, thanks. So at this point, we would move into the final review of the application. So since we've identified, two things to be added, three things. The borderline and the deed information from both tax parcels. We can approve with a condition. And that condition would be that that the Downies would submit the final corrected site plan, which basically includes the information we've identified. They could submit that to me as chairman. If it's okay, I can then sign it as being approved. So that means they don't have to wait for another month. As soon as they can get that. If the board is willing to do that, it's allowed by our town regulations. So I guess I would entertain unless anybody has anything else that they've thought of in the meantime. I would ask for a motion to grant final approval on the condition that the site plan include the mentioned updates that are that are consistent with our review tonight.
I'll make a motion.
Caitlin? Second?
Second.
Darlis? Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Okay. So all we need is that packet of the 5 or 6 pages, Well, you only need to give us the newest ones with the corrections, but if you're sending it, send a whole new set. What you can do is you can contact me. We can just arrange for a Thursday night to get together and sign them. We'll need 2 of them, one for the planning board records file and one for the code enforcement records and file. And then at that point, CEO will take over and talk about building permits and the Ontario County approval on the curb cut, or call it a curb cut, where the driveway comes to the highway, and then you'll be on the way. Okay?
Do you want them to sign the changes?
Yeah, I've got a couple of.
When they come out?
No, they can do them right now. So one of you, I just need you to initial or 3, 4 things. The application. So I just changed the 1 to a 5, so just right next to it, just your initial. And then just initial, and then just initial out here that we corrected. We added those 2. 14, I think, was all right.
Introduced me. This is Barbara Christian.
So that's okay. So that's everything, and we'll just get the new revised.
Yeah, that's fine.
Most of them.
Yeah.
Making notes.
No, no.
He's got.
Because you want you guys, it's going to be very.
You can send an electronic copy, and then you can
Good.
print out 2 copies, paper copies, and we'll get together.
Yeah.
Okay,
I had a good.
all right.
Hey, guys.
The sign, just it's on your truck, you said?
I can bring it.
Just bring it in and set it inside the door.
Okay.
At the end of the hall, okay?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
That's a lot.
And we do have openings on the zoning board of appeal.
No.
More than I wanted to. Swept to do.
Yeah, Keller.
Yeah.
And Keller
That's
was
it.
like,
You have to learn all this stuff for one
Yeah.
time. Okay,
I's dotted and T's crossed from the beginning.
Yeah.
That's what we have to do.
yeah, they have done an excellent job at providing information. You're
Thank
welcome
you.
to stay. We only got a couple more things, or you're welcome to leave. It's up to you.
I'll go grab the sign.
Okay, just leave it inside the front door.
Thank you,
Thank you.
thank you again.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
And that brings us to the last privilege of the floor.
Something? I wanted to just, you mentioned that there's the new secret form, and I just wanted to mention, that.
You sent it to me.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
And it was, because I went to the environmental justice webinar, which was pretty interesting, and it took a long time, but now there are finally these new amendments that, have made it to our secret form, so they have added a question. And it's, pretty much about making sure that, there's a, I think they said 35% of New York State has these tracks that they're calling, disadvantaged communities. And they just want to make sure that when people are building things, that we're going to be not always building them in those areas, that we're going to be careful about environmental impact.
Yeah.
And presently and in the future. So I think the two questions have to do with, it's one question, is it A and a B?
I think it's a one question.
Was that A and a B?
The thing that I have to do, or we need to do, is what is the definition? What definition are they using for disadvantaged community?
Well, actually, you can look it up. We can see if we have any here.
Oh, okay.
There is a
Oh,
map.
good.
Yeah.
Don't have any.
Don't.
Yeah,
There,
No.
in Ontario County, there's only a really small piece over in Geneva in all of the
Okay.
county,
Okay.
yeah.
unless the maps have been updated.
And that will be
recently.
updated sometime, I'm sure. Okay.
Yeah, I think I tried to look at the map, but I think there's a fee, and I wondered if we, as a town, have access to that map. So, but it's good to know we don't have any here. Yeah, there was some kind of,
Assume the planning department has a copy of that map.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's an
Planning
online kind of a
Used it
map.
for a grant several years ago, so that's why I'm familiar with it.
Okay.
All right.
So anyway, so that new seeker form, and I did, so we'll have it. I looked at it, I saw this one wasn't updated, but it was.
I got it the next day after we,
Okay.
a couple of days after we had given this one out to the Downies.
And that was all I wanted to mention.
Okay. Thought I had something else, but
We do.
Danielle. Ballard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. Okay,
It's me.
pardon?
I'm the other thing.
That's right. Gwen is going to leave us. She got her offer somewhere. Leave a planning board. You want to just,
Yes, I've joined the board at the Little Finger Lakes Center, which I'm excited about. But I can't also be on the planning board. So thank you for the past year. I have learned so much. Not all of it about Jersey Hill, but a lot. So thank you. I really respect this group and I appreciate having the time, being part of it. I'm glad to continue supporting the area in a new way.
okay, good. So I did respond. All you need to do is send us a little letter saying, you know, that you, as of some date, tomorrow, probably, right? You said tonight probably be your last meeting.
Yeah, I have to miss the next meeting, so I could come back in September if that were helpful. I don't mean to be abrupt.
It'll be fine. And I brought a voucher. You, if you
Oh, great.
know the meeting dates that you attended,
Yes.
or you can take it home and fill it out
Okay.
and then drop it off. Be paid for the meetings if you attended. And appreciate having you here.
I guess so. I mean, I didn't personally hit it, so yeah.
So that was the other privilege of the floor I had. Okay.
Well, thank you so much
Just had one
for
quick question, the prior, I'm sorry, the prior applications that you had that were, going to be bringing their final information, is there any more? Have you heard from all of them?
The only one we're waiting on is the Pecora subdivision.
Okay.
And as I mentioned, he's having a little difficult, they're having a little difficulty getting the new survey deed easement thing all together. So, but they are working on it.
Okay.
I think I think Pecora has 6 months to provide the final survey, if I recall. Everything else is up to date. We're
Okay,
not
cool.
waiting for any more paperwork other than that final survey.
So the music festival is happening.
Music festival's happening. That got approved at the last meeting. He's got a sign up down there and.
Should we camp? No.
No. Unless you become a member of the immediate family.
We can all walk home.
Okay, with that, I have a motion to entertain a motion to.
I make a motion to adjourn.
All right, Matt, White, all in favor? Opposed? Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Years ago,
yeah.
and I went into the office. And there's the problem.
Caroline.
I'll probably
Yeah,
get you a little
second.
closer.
Sorry, I'm spiking.
Right, and I'll.
Nobody's gonna figure out.
And just.
We'll figure it out.